You're listening to Confidence with Caytie, a podcast created for ambitious, savvy women who are ready to embrace their inner badass. If you're ready to figure out exactly what you want and how to get there, I want you to jump on in and join me, executive coach, TEDx speaker, fire starter, and your podcast host, Caytie Langford. Hello, I'm Caytie, and I just want you to know that I am doing a happy dance right now because you are here for Confidence with Caytie, episode number 11, The Perfection Myth. You know, it's kind of funny. Here I am sitting in my office trying to plan and write content for our podcast all about perfection. And yet I'm getting so wrapped up in trying to be perfect and make it perfect. Here's the thing. I care about you. And the fact that you take 15 to 20 minutes of your very precious time to listen to our podcast means that I want you to have the very best. And yet, I know that it's not going to be perfect. You know, there's going to be something that I'm not going to tell you today that I'm going to want to talk to you about in the future. There might even be something that I say today that tomorrow I'm going to wake up and realize I could have said totally differently. So instead of being twisted about trying to make this episode perfect, I'm going to do one better. I'm going to be me. I promise you that I'm going to show up as the authentic version of myself because my only goal is to inspire, motivate, and impact your life. And instead of trying to be perfect, I'm going to try to be the best version of who I am today. But before we get all into this idea of perfection, I do want to share my badass inspiration of the week. Today's badass is Ava DuVernay. She is an American film director, producer, screenwriter, film marketer, and film distributor. You might know her based on her films A Wrinkle in Time, Selma, or Queen Sugar. I had the opportunity to hear her speak at the Texas Women's Foundation luncheon just a few weeks ago. And y'all, she is a rock star. I hate to tell everyone this, but if I'm going to show up as the best version of myself, I'm also going to be the authentic, honest one. I didn't really know who she was when I got there. I knew that Michelle Norris was going to be moderating the conversation. And I love Michelle, so I thought, this will be great. Ava is now on my list of sheroes. She is incredible. She is doing so much for women in movie making. She's doing so much for African Americans in movie making. And y'all, she's just a badass because of who she is. One of the things that she said that completely transformed me was the idea that she said, there is no traffic when you're in your own lane. Y'all, I'm not going to lie. I talk about confidence, but I get caught up in comparisonitis. I get caught up in this idea of trying to be perfect. And so when she said this, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It made me realize that it's okay for me to just be me and you to just be you. What's phenomenal about Ava being Ava is that just a few weeks ago, it was announced that she signed a $100 million deal with Warner Brothers. Y'all, go follow her on Instagram, support her documentaries, see her movies. And now I want to get back to our topic about perfection. You know, Ava did say there is no traffic when you're in your own lane. And yet, so many of us get bound up by this idea of perfection that we don't even turn into the lane to see if there's traffic or not. Think about it. Have you ever stopped yourself from doing something because you weren't perfect? Have you ever decided that you weren't quite ready because everything outside of you, the external factors, weren't perfect? What about the time that you went forward even when things weren't perfect and you wound up beating yourself up and not enjoying the moments because they weren't perfect? You know, I've told you that I hear over and over that people don't do things because of a lack of confidence. But the second thing that I hear over and over is that people want to wait until it's perfect. The perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect timing. So here's the thing. A lot of us use this word perfect or perfection, but I don't even know if we really know what it means. So, according to our good friends over at Webster's Dictionary, the definition of perfection is freedom from fault or defect. The definition of perfect is corresponding to an ideal standard or abstract concept. And this is where I think we get hung up. People aren't perfect. Processes aren't perfect. Our careers aren't perfect. Our lives certainly aren't perfect. Our relationships aren't perfect. Who we show up as every single day in this world, it's not perfect. I want you to think about some of the most beautiful things that can be made and enjoyed, like a delicious meal, a piece of art, a great book, a beautiful home. It's funny that we can enjoy these things, but I want you to know that none of them are perfect. My husband, as many of you probably know from Instagram, Glass Guy Shane is in residential construction, and he's owned his own business for just over 16 years now. And as you probably know, anyone who owns their own company, they spend a lot of time and energy in their company. And so there's been a lot of Saturdays that I have spent with Shane in a glass truck traveling from house to house. We're going to look at his work, his team's work, seeing what's going on. And what I love about his art, and I totally do believe that glass is art, any glazing is art. What I love about it is that the glass that he fabricates will look perfect to the naked eye. It's supposed to do that. It's supposed to appear as if the walls are perfectly straight. And here's the thing, they're not. In fact, I'd just say to you, put a level up against any wall in your house. It is probably very out of square. And what I love about Shane's work is when he and his team are creating the perfect shower door for someone, they want it to visually look and appear as if it's perfect. And yet, if you know all of the stuff behind it, the fact that it's cut out a square and it might be shimmed up with a little piece of shim, we might have to wiggle it one way or wiggle it the other way, is that it's not perfect. Now, why do I share this with you? Because I really want you to listen when I say that he and his team make it appear perfect. In today's world, there are lots of opportunities to appear perfect. We all know this. Social media for starters, right? People don't get on social media and say, today sucked and I had a horrible hair day, or I got fired from my job, or I accidentally caused a wreck on the freeway. We don't talk about those kinds of things on social media. And maybe we should. Maybe we should be the more authentic versions of ourselves. But we have a lot going on in our world in which we're supposed to be perfect. But no one, and I truly mean no one, not any of the people who actually look like they have their shit together, all do. There's some part of their life that's not perfect. I have a friend, Jennifer, in Houston. Jennifer is one of the top real estate agents down in Houston. She is just doing a bang up job down there. And what I loved, a couple of months ago, she and her family had gone on vacation. And here she is selling house after house after house and volunteering and doing all these great things. And she has 2 beautiful daughters and this awesome husband. And life just looks great and perfect for Jen. And Jen took a video of the luggage that had been sitting in her bedroom that had not been unpacked for several weeks. And she said, people always think that I have it all together and that everything in my life is perfect. But let me just show you my messy bedroom and the fact that that suitcase should have been unpacked weeks ago and still hasn't been. See, perfection is a myth. Life isn't meant to be perfect, and neither are we. It's meant to be crazy and messy and constantly changing. And we as human beings, we are meant to be ever evolving, ever expanding. So, what does this mean for you? Well, it means that I'm giving you permission to let go of the perfection myth. It means that you no longer have to wait for the perfect to happen before you live your life. It means that you're allowed to make mistakes. It means that you're allowed to try things even when you're nervous or scared. It means that you can go ahead and forge down the path that you want to, even though the timing doesn't seem perfect. See, if we go back to what Ava is saying about no traffic in our own lanes, and yet we're sitting there not even wanting to turn into our lane to see if there's traffic. There are so many of us. We are sitting at the stoplight and we're waiting, and that stoplight keeps turning green, and yet we keep waiting. So I want to see, where are you sitting? Where are you stopped? Where are you waiting for the perfect moment when instead you just need to pull out into your lane? What is one thing that you can get yourself doing to move forward? Action is the difference between sitting here feeling inspired, knowing you can and should do something, and actually making things happen. So what is one thing that you can do to abandon the perfection myth and just go make it happen? Maybe it's at work, in your professional life. Maybe you need to raise your hand for something, whether it's a new job or a new opportunity. Maybe you need to have that conversation with your boss. Maybe it's in your relationships. Perhaps you're waiting for that perfect moment in a relationship. But perhaps you're just sitting at the stoplight at the relationship and you need to just jump into your own lane. Perhaps it's with your health or your fitness. Perhaps it's this dream that you have that you're just waiting. You keep waiting. Y'all, waiting doesn't work. You're not a bottle of Heinz ketchup. Sometimes you got to do things before the moment is perfect, before the timing is perfect, before you're perfect. You just got to jump on out there. So I ask you again, where is that one place in your life that you're willing to abandon the perfection myth and just pull into your own lane? As 2018 is coming to a quick close, I want you to embrace the fact that you aren't perfect. You're not. But I want you to embrace the real, authentic you with all the big goals and all of the big dreams, with all of your flaws, all of your idiosyncrasies, your way of being you. You are freaking awesome. So don't get bound up by perfection. It's just a myth. Thanks for listening to Confidence with Caytie. I hope this episode helped you feel more empowered to take control of your dream life and your dream career. Start igniting those fires, sister, and embrace your inner badass. Until next time, badasses.